Good morning, Scott here. I hope you're well. I hope you had a nice weekend. And so we had an FP week last week. It was not much of an event as it happens. Often you get these crazy price movements, but they seem to be pretty relaxed on Friday. So that's good. Hopefully there'll be no big movements this morning in reaction to the US news on Friday, but we'll see. But today, this week's looking pretty good. There's not too much news around to mess things up. So I found a few things to look at today. So let's dive into the charts and see what we've got to see. Oops. That's the right buttons, and we'll get going. So, a few items of interest. First one, CAD yen. Start for the higher time frames. And what we can see is, looks like a topping process on the weekly. Got a big spike up. We had overbought for quite a while. And the last peak was a MACD divergence. So that's hinting at a reversal. On the daily, we've had a good pullback, even broke the daily 50, pull back up to this strong support resistance line here. Rejected that, and it's now going back down, apart from Friday. So we'll take Friday as just a retest of the daily 50, and we're still going to go short. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see what the lower time frames have to confirm that. Again, we've got the 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minute. What we really need to focus on right now is the 1 hour. So this is the pullback, just crossing the daily 50, this green line here, and the daily 20 just above it. So it spiked into that and rejected, and it seems to be going short again. We've got a downtrend, right? We've got a lower highs, this high to this high to this high, lower highs and lower lows. This low, this low, this low. Confirmed trend change. Looking to go short. Now, we identified this on Friday, and that was, this is probably the news on Friday, so there was some kind of spike there. So we had to pull back late session on Friday, and that would have been a good entry if you managed to get in there. And this trend line, that's why we like to have trend lines, because they do tend to act as support resistance. Rejected the trend line, and now we're heading down. So that time's probably passed. What have we got on for today? I imagine, or the only thing we'll have on today would be in the pitch snatcher. That won't work either, because the pitch snatcher, you enter here, if you stop behind the R1, let's get those two confused, you've got to think about it. That's R1 and S1 down here, but we can't get 1-to-1 before S1. Got to trade through it, so that's no good as a pitch snatcher. So actually that one has already passed, unless it does happen to come back for another entry. There's a great break and retest there. That's a nice looking trade, but that's probably gone now. Right, Euro Swiss. Let's quickly go through some of these. We have Euro Swiss. So we've had a double top. Not quite. Run up here from new lows. Rejection. And it seems to be decelerating. We've got smaller candles down here, getting smaller and smaller. So and it's kind of in the daily 50 zone. So is that just going to go back up now? Continuous uptrend? Have we got an uptrend? Well, not really, because we've got equal lows and then lower low. And the highs, we've got a higher high. So maybe we've got an uptrend. Until we get a higher low in, confirmed higher low, we don't know if that's a trend challenge or not. But I think they're going to go up. We'll look at, this is why. Okay, this is a nice, very nice looking wedge pattern, which is a sign of deceleration and a reversal, a hint of a reversal. So we've got, on the 1 hour, we've got lower highs, lower lows, so definitely a trend to go short. But this being a reversal pattern hints that this trend will break up here, and then we can play the break up there to the highs. So the reason I've got this on a gold, on my gold list, and not as a blue, which is for later on, I'll get this break, because there's actually a trade we could, a strategy we can use here called the ACB, Advanced Continuation Breakout. So we've got this uptrend here. It's a playbook strategy. So if you're in playbook, you'll know what I'm talking about, I hope. So we've got an uptrend here, pulling back to the 4-hour 50, which is this blue line, and then it'll break up to the upside. So that will give an entry in there. That'll be a 5-minute entry. If you're familiar with the strategy. So that's something that could play out. I would say this morning, but Euro Swiss, it's really a UK US pair. It's not going to do anything in the morning, probably in the Asia session. So probably something for 6 to 8 hours time, and who knows, maybe it'll just go rattling around here for the next 6 to 8 hours and then break up. If not, just play safe, wait for the break of the 1-hour 50, pull back, IBO to highs. That'll be a nice one to keep an eye on. So one thing else to consider here, I almost forgot to mention, is the daily 50 is right here. It's kind of ignoring it, as you can see. You rejected it here, then broke through, come back and acted as support here, then it's just ignored it and ignored it, kind of ignored it. So just be aware of that. You probably don't want to be trading through the daily 50, although it is kind of ignoring it. So this is the safest bet, waiting for the IBO, break out in the IBO. Okay, euro pound. Let's move on to that one. Similar kind of pattern. We've got a really amazing high test a week or so ago. Pullback, rejection off the daily 50, and is that going to be? It's kind of done a 382 pullback. Is that going to go short now, or is it going to go long? Well, I've got long in here, but it's not really that convincing. Let's see what the lower time frames give us. Well, we can see, it's been kind of trending upwards, but not in a very strong fashion. It's kind of drifting upwards. And then now we have a break of the 4-hour 50, and we're sitting on the 1-hour 50. So if we get a nice break of the 4-hour 50, get a nice break up to here somewhere, and then pull back to the 4-hour 50, that could be a nice CBO. As it is at the moment, it's not really doing much. Hopefully this year, this week, it'll find a bit of gusto and do something nice. Kind of drifting. We've also got a double top or even a lower high here, which is not good. So I want to see a higher high, 4, 5, 6 candles at least, 4-hour candles, which can be obviously could be a day. So either later today or tomorrow. We could see a breakout. That's clear break from the 4-hour 50, pull back to the 4-hour 50, 1-hour 50 in the CBO. So to keep an eye on, that shouldn't be gold, that should be blue because it's not happening right now. The IBO happened here, the initial breakout, which would have played out. And then this is kind of, yeah. Okay, moving on. Euro yen. Euro yen, we have this is a strong level, it's rejected it again. So it's pulling back down. We are hitting the daily 20 here. This is daily 20, daily 50 zone. It's kind of area between those two moving averages. So be aware that a bit more unpredictable in there. We're looking at this, what do we have here on the lower time frames? We've got a wave 1, a wave 2 pullback, a wave 3, which then broke through the 4-hour 50. Is it a wave 4? I don't think so. That's the news. So maybe that was just a blip. So this is wave 3 continuing, wave 4 pullback, and wave 5 short. That's what I'm thinking. Want to see a nice clear. So we're going from here across to here, putting back to the 4-hour 50, and then going down to the daily 50. Would make sense. So hang around here for a few hours, pull back, nice clear break. So we get on the 4-hour chart, we get nice break and retest of the 4-hour 50. And that'll be an entry. Entry at 382, stop behind 618, and play down to the daily 50. 2% off that, that'd be quite nice. So Euro yen is looking good for later on. See how that plays out. Euro USD. Again, we've got a short rejection of this trend line and the daily 50. Going short, plenty of room to lows. And a similar kind of thing. Got a wave 1, wave 2, big wave 3. This will be a wave 4 pullback and a wave 5 short. So the fibs from here, wave 3. So wave 3 starts pulling back now. That'd be pretty good. That'll line up quite nicely. 382 with the 1-hour 50 and the 4-hour 50. When it does come back, it does pull back. The 1-hour 50 probably a bit lower. That's still okay. 4-hour 50 is protection before I stop. So I'll stop behind the 618. Maybe it'll just have to break the 1-hour 50, pull back up here towards the 4-hour 50, and then break down. That could be a nice looking trade. What will the stop go? When I put the take profit I put here at these lows. But it just this as the wave 5. So let's do our fib extension on wave 3. If it plays out something like this, pulls back to about here, the 4-hour 50, then we will adjust our take profit to be for the 618. That way, that's the usual wave 5 price target, 0.618 extension, or the lows. So that'll probably be a nice price target, still 2%, so it's still a good looking trade possibly going on there. Setting up for later, pound CAD. Right, low test, crazy low test last week or so, just before last week. Big run up, and now it's pulling back. Is it going to pull back and go long again? Maybe it's going to retest this line here, this SR line. Or maybe it's just going to go through, or is it going to keep going down? I'm not really sure. What does the lower time frame give us? Not really clear there. But we are now below the daily 50. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's just zoom in a little bit. All right, Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not particularly clear on the Elliott wave. So we look at that maybe on the 4-hour. Let's zoom out of this one and go to the 4-hour. Elliott wave, anything here? Maybe that's the wave 1. Wave 2 pullback. This is the wave 3. Maybe it's not that clear, is it? Back to the 1-hour. Right, so what we do have though is a nice looking break of the 4-hour 50, just down to the daily 20, this red line. And now if you're going to pull back to the 4-hour 50, when the 1-hour 50 catches up, about 6 hours time, that could be a nice little setup there. Zoom in a little bit. The fib from this run, which broke the 4-hour 50, and pull back to 382 where the 4-hour 50 is, and the 1-hour 50 will be catching up. And the daily 50 is right there as well, so it'll be good. It's in a stop zone before our stop, which is good protection. And then take it down to where? Well, as I said, the wave is not very clear. There's no looking at the lows of the 1 hour over here. This would be an obvious place, 1.5%, 1 point, yeah, it's a 1.5%. After that, there's not much to stop it to go right down here. So some options in there that could be setting up later on. Let's go to pound yen. Similar looking thing. We've got a big run up, hit this strong level, it's been rejected many times before, and that's breaking down, breaking through the daily 50 and daily 20. Expect it to pull back, do a little retest, see what the hourly gives us. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. So we've got this, what do we have? Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we need complex pullback. What else do we have? So we've got the, if we do get a clear break for a few more hours, there's a nice 4 hour candle, it's got the 4 hour chart. There we go. So 4 hour chart, we can see there's definitely a nice break below there. So it's looking okay. It does pull back. If we do the fibs from this run here, actually, if it doesn't pull down any lower, then we can do the fibs from this one here probably, which is a bit tight, but see what happens with this, what happens with this price action. Maybe it'll break lower a little bit to give us a better fib, and we can take the fib from up here, which I feel more comfortable with, because the tighter you have it, yes, more profit you can make, but the more likely you are to be stopped out. So it does come down a bit lower, down here somewhere, then pull back. That'd be nice. Usual things, in at the 382, stop at the 618. Profit target. These lows, which line up with a 618 extension of this run, if we do get a pull down to about this level. So keep an eye on that one. What else can I say? Oh yeah, so look at the MACD on this. So we've got a low, a lower high, and a lower low. Okay, there's a MACD divergence. I noticed this on a few pairs. That's hinting at a reversal of some kind. Whether it's a complete reversal or just a nice little pullback to the 4 hour 50. Have to wait and see. But if it does break lower, then that MACD divergence may be fixed and may be okay. Then it will fall back. So let's keep an eye on that one. A few things to think about. Kiwi CAD. Okay, we're breaking down. Kiwi's been pretty weak recently. The CAD's getting a bit of strength. So we've had a spike up of this trend line, and it's going lower. We're at lows. It's a caution going short here. Is it actually oversold yet? RSI reasonably oversold, but nothing much to write home about there. What do we have here? Wave 1, wave 2, not a great pullback, but it's a pullback. Wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So it looks like we will get some kind of wave 5. So pitch snatcher, quick 1-to-1. We've already had our CBO. Happen with our IBO at the same time, so that won't happen. You can't play that one again. But the pitch snatcher here, in the pivot, stop behind the R1, and then quick 1-to-1. It could be a nice little trade. The thing to be aware of though is this 1 hour 50 is way behind us. Is there a trend line here anywhere? There's a trend line, but it's very steep. And the 1 hour 50 is quite a way behind, so not the best of trades, but there's for an aggressive trader, you might say that as a pitch snatcher. And MACD looks good. Okay. Oops, I want to do that. Go back to this one. Kiwi Swiss, I think, is quite similar from memory. Similar, but we do have a bit more room to the lows. So a bit more enticing looking daily price action. We've had a double top here on the hourly, breaking down to lows. So there's room for a quick little stature in there. It's a bit tight though, isn't it? Not too keen on that actually, a bit tight. 1 hour 50 is still away behind. We could say there's a trend line here, which acts as resistance. That's looking quite good. So maybe a little chance here for quick stature. Quick 1-to-1. But that's a bit tight. This is the sort of thing that can play out in an hour or less. So not too bad. Let's see what else. Kiwi yen, similar thing, a big breakdown, room to the lows. Looking for a short on Kiwi yen. And similar kind of thing, we've got this pip snatcher, into the pivot, stop behind this R1, and then quick 1-to-1 down to lows. And no trend lines really there to there. Maybe there's a trend line there for protection. Again, the 1 hour 50 is quite a long way back, so not ideal. Depending on what sort of trader you are, it's a bit aggressive for me. I would like to see the 1 hour 50 at least tested. So maybe in a few hours, the 1 hour 50 comes down, just break the pivot, just test the 1 hour 50 and make sure it could be an entry. Kiwi dollar, we're trading down at lows, so be careful there. It's looking like a short, and again the pip snatcher, very similar looking thing. Again, the 1 hour 50 is quite a way behind, so caution, and we're at lows. So we don't want to trade below these lows, but trade down to them could be an option. Dollar Swiss. We are looking quite long. We're actually at this major resistance level, so caution again. And we've got a strong run up on Friday, Thursday, Friday. Now we can pull back for a quick pip snatcher 1-to-1. Again, the 1 hour 50 is quite a way behind, so I'm not that keen on it. Need to make that highs, and that below that, and then we can go 1-to-1. So we entered about here somewhere, but I don't like the 1 hour 50. It's a bit too far behind. MACD, oh, that very strong MACD there. MACD divergence. We go from this high to this high, higher high on the price action, lower high on the MACD. That indicates that it's going to reverse some stage. You may get a wave 5 in first, or this quick pip snatcher may play out, but you might find that it just breaks down. We have a line here. Yeah, very strong trend line. No, not strong, very steep trend line. Looks reasonable. When it breaks that, I would expect it to pull back to the pivot, pull up, maybe play out the pip snatcher, but maybe not, and then break down. So you may just do this. So you're in your pip snatcher, and then it breaks down. Yes, so that's not looking great for pip snatcher. Wouldn't want to take that either, actually. There's a few of these pip snatchers looking a little bit reversally. I'll show you one in a moment. So ones which are not set up yet, but maybe later on. So we had this beautiful tweet at bottom last week, looking for higher prices. Nothing much happened on Friday. It's a bit wicky, a bit messy. That's Aussie Kiwi, this is the way it is. Right, so we've got a break of the 4 hour 50, but not a convincing one. So we want to see this break up here, hang around for a few 4 hour candles, pull back, and we can play out to the highs. Space there. So that's something that could happen later today, perhaps. Keep an eye on that one. Of the USD. We've got this level. The level is quite hard to. There's no clear levels down here. There's a level that we're at right now, which I've called a strong one, but there's a few of them around. It kind of look at the monthly chart, we can see it's testing these lows here. It's not that obvious. All right. So the RSI oversold, and the MACD put in its recent lows. Zoom in a bit, slightly higher. Not that obvious, but it's definitely a slight divergence there. So possibly a reversal, weekly and monthly oversold. Yeah, oversold on the weekly. Okay, so look at the hourly action. What do we have? We've got a possible pitch snatcher in there short, but I'm not too keen on it. And this is a very good reason why. MACD divergence here is massive. You see a much lower low, but a much higher low on the MACD. MACD divergence. So therefore, I wouldn't want to take that as a short, pull back and play it short, because it's just looking too reversally. So we'll probably break this trend line, come back, retest it maybe, and then break up, break the 1 hour 50. And the break of this trend line, which just goes back quite a way, I don't think it's the strongest thing. It's not. It's too highs, but break of that will signify reversal. So line back there somewhere as well, which kind of mix up the same kind of place. So what are we looking for then? What we're looking for here is break of the 1 hour 50, play up to these trend lines and this 4 hour 50. So maybe break that trend line, pull back at the 1 hour 50, pull back. We trade up there. Trade long on the break of the 1 hour 50 in IBO up to 4 hour 50, and stop whether that happens to be. Worth keeping an eye on. Euro pound already covered. And Swiss. Okay, is this going to keep on going down, or is it going long? It's not too obvious from the daily chart. It's decelerated, but it was on Friday, so hard to know. It's also just hit the daily 20. Now this is why I think this is going long. Here we had this wedge, like we saw on a different pair earlier. Great deceleration wedge at the 4 hour 50, perfect. It then broke that on Friday, came back and retested it perfectly. So that's a very good reversal price action there. And okay, so what do we want to see? In the daily 20, daily 50 zone. If you're an aggressive trader, you could even play the ACB, which I was talked about earlier. You probably would have entered here somewhere, or you could even enter again here. There's another option to enter here. On break of the 5 minute 50. But if not, you just wait for the break of the 1 hour 50, retest, and then there will be a trade there up to the daily 50. Okay, that's one option. And the safer option would be to wait for a break of the daily 50. So we're not having that spoil our fun. The daily 50, you clear back the daily 50, and then we can trade it long much later. So to keep an eye on, just be aware of that one. And pound USD, pound dollar. Is it going down? Is it going up? We've done about a 382 pullback by the looks of it. So it could be continuing its uptrend. what do we have here? We've probably got a MACD. Yes, MACD, big MACD divergence. See, from here to here, we're going a lower low and a lower low. Quite clearly, they're the same, right there. That's a MACD convergence because they're looking good. This one here, MACD divergence for a lower low, but a much higher low on the MACD, indicating reversal. Which is why I put the trend line in here. We see a break of that trend line, which will probably be about the same time as we break the 1 hour 50 and the 4 hour 50 just above it as well. Maybe some kind of trade like that happening sometime in the future. We will see. Right. There you go. That's my quick rundown of what I can see today in the charts. I hope you found that useful. As always, the more time you spend in front of the charts, the quicker you'll rewire your brain to see these patterns quickly. When I first started doing this, a year and a half ago, I would spend over an hour going through the charts and will this fit, will this strategy work here, will this one work here, is that reversal? But now I can do it in about 40, 15 minutes. And a bit longer to put in the strategies and stuff, but a quick overview is very quick. So it's all down to time and familiarity with rewiring these neurons up here to see these patterns instantly, and makes your life much easier. It's all down to time in front of the charts. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So there you go. A few things possibly today, and we've got a good week ahead of us. There's not too much news going on, so that won't spoil things. I wish you all the best in the markets. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.